Yo guys, welcome back to the Uncle Sharma channel. We out here. We defeated COVID. Well, I defeated COVID. We made it out the hood. It kept me down last couple of weeks, but I'm fully recovered now. I'm ready to make videos again. And Inter have been so good in this period. I was down, but Inter were right up there. And yes, we still top of the league. Capolisti feels good, feels amazing. First time Inter have been top of the league in the second half of the season since the triplete season. So fingers crossed, that's a good sign. Before we get kicked off with what I want to talk about today, make sure to check out my video I did with Rabona TV. If you don't know about Rabona TV, you've been living under a rock. It's one of the biggest football channels out there on YouTube. 190k subs. Adrian, he's a great guy, and yeah, he invited me on to talk about Romelu Lukaku's rise to success, and it was so good to spread some Romelu Lukaku gospel to Premier League fans or football fans from all over the place. So yeah, make sure to check out that video. Very good video. Now we can get cracking with what I wanted to speak about. First of all, I had COVID and now I've recovered, but according to reports, it's been confirmed, Inter confirmed themselves, that Beppe Marotta and a few of the other directors like Piero Ausilio and Antonello, they have tested positive for coronavirus or COVID-19. So wishing them all a quick, speedy recovery, especially Marotta, who, he's an older gentleman. Before we crack on with the Inter Genoa preview, there's a few things that I want to talk about. And one of them was this article released by the Corriere dello Sport called, Inter 10 e lode. Inter are first in the league, but they're also first in league for 10 things, which we can get into right now. First of all, obviously, first in the league, as I said, 53 points. Nice 4-point cushion from Milan, and then even more from Juve. But Juve have that game in hand against Napoli, which is supposed to be coming up soon. And they lost against Napoli recently, but I reckon in that other match Juve will take that. So I'm considering Juve to be at 48 points at the moment in my mind, and I'm still considering them to be our biggest challengers. I've been saying since the start of the season, Juve are the ones to watch. I expected this little bit of a dip from Milan, but let's see how they do in the next few weeks. But feels nice to be right up there on top. But let's have a look at the other 10 things that Inter are top of the league for. Goals. We've been knowing that since the start of the season, even when we weren't playing that well, we were still a goal scoring machine. Atalanta, who were the top goal scorers last year of Serie A, they are behind us at the moment. We've got 57, they got 53, and then there's a pretty big gap to Roma next. So great statistic. Calling Antonio Conte defensive coach is just incorrect now. Last year we were second top scorers. This year we're the first, and if we keep this kind of average of scoring, we'll end up with the highest scorers, and we are right up there with the European giants. Just behind the likes of Bayern Munich, PSG. So great numbers. We're up there in terms of expected goals as well. XG is it's an interesting statistic, but it doesn't really tell the full story, but also backs up that Inter are scoring goals because they're also creating very high quality chances, and we're actually slightly overperforming our XG at the moment, which is kind of surprising. Conversion percentage, as I said, that's a surprising one, to be honest. We have the highest conversion percentage at 16%, 16.43%, which if you ask the Inter fan what you think the lowest stat would be for Inter this season, probably would say the conversion rate, because we've created so many chances this year, especially we've been slandering Lautaro. He's had a lot of chances, but into the team in general, not just Lautaro, Lukaku, even Hakimi, everyone, and Vidal had a few sitters this season. So it's quite a surprising statistic, but also says that maybe we're not as bad at finishing as we think we are. We're top of the league for assists, 34, top of the league for useful / accurate crosses. We've been slandering Hakimi and the likes for having bad crosses, but most of the time it seems like they do end up at the target. And this one I've been banging on about this whole season. Actually, I've been banging on about this one since Conte has come into Inter, and this is one of the things I was really looking forward to the most to having under Antonio Conte. It was a fit, athletic team. This is what Antonio Conte and his backroom staff, especially Antonio Pintus, the fitness coach, this is what he's known for having his team running. And yeah, this Inter team runs, and this is one of the things I also kept saying, even when things were going bad at the start of the season, that this team is still behind Conte, because we would see, if the team wasn't behind Conte, we would see a drop off in these running numbers, because that's the first thing that happens when the team isn't behind the coach. Even unconsciously, some players can start to drop off and not make those runs they used to do before, and maybe not have those high intensity runs. But with Antonio Conte, I have never seen this team not put in 100% effort on the pitch, always sweating that shirt or that they're wearing. So always been one of the most key factors that I always look at and I love about this Inter team. And obviously this one's not a surprise, Brozovic being the top runner in the whole of Serie A in individual average running, ahead of Thorsby from Sampdoria, ahead of Marco Rog from Cagliari. Rog actually probably has a few less matches as well compared to the other two, because he's been injured recently. So that one's not a surprise. We know Brozovic, that guy has got some Kenyan blood in him. The Croatian Mo Farah. We're also first for headed goals, 11 headed goals. This is something that Inter need to be first. You have to be first when you have a team of the likes of Skriniar, De Vrij, Lukaku, Gagliardini, Vidal. All these players are very good in the air. You should be it's a tall physical team. You should be first in the league. So it's good to see that we're using our height advantage as an advantage. And key passes were also top of the league for ahead of Atalanta once again. So overall, all of these numbers show that this team, there's a clear style of play, and it's an efficient style of play. It brings results. Even at the beginning of the season when we were struggling, I was bringing these kind of numbers about the XG, the chances created, all these kind of numbers that showed that there's good work going on in the background, but it's just not paying off at the moment. That's why I was never in the Conte out camp. I was always a believer in this Conte project, even though obviously Champions League side of things, I keep saying massive failure. We can't get away from that. But everything that I was seeing with my eyes and everything I was seeing, in terms of the statistics, everything, was pointing to keeping Conte. There was no point in changing from Antonio Conte, and this is, proven. And that performance in the derby, I got to rewatch that performance. So good. A lot of people are saying that AC Milan were bad, but rewatching that performance, that was Inter being so good that, they played Milan off the park, especially that first half. Rewatching that, Pioli got completely outclassed. Conte was playing, it was making sure to expose Simon Kjaer and especially Romagnoli 1v1 against Romelu Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez, and we did that so many times throughout the match. So fair play to Conte, fair play to the players. This team is a well-oiled machine at the moment, and I'm really enjoying watching them. At the beginning of the season, I do admit I was saying that I'm not really enjoying watching this Inter team play, but that was the 3-4-1-2 high pressing, high line Inter team. This is a different machine. This is an efficient counter-attacking when needed, but also dominating the match at times with the ball. So this team knows when to do what, and it's so good to watch. And I'm so glad that the Antonio Conte project is coming to fruition now. In terms of the Inter-Genoa match, Genoa have been a little bit whipping boys for Inter in recent seasons. It's probably the match that worries me the least over the last few years. But coming into this, Genoa are actually in pretty good form. They're one of the informed teams in the Serie A, and I think they're unbeaten since early January under Ballardini. As I said in one of my older videos, when Ballardini came in, this is a Serie A season now. When Davide Ballardini is there with his aviator glasses at the side, with his moody look, and the bench of Genoa especially, this is a proper Serie A season. So it's good to see him back. And they've flown to mid-table since Ballardini was there. They were fighting for relegation. Now they're a mid-table team, so credit where it's due. And this is the formation that we played against Genoa last time round. Just to bring it up, in October we were still playing that 3-4-1-2 formation that I was not a fan of. It was it used to push our defense line so high up, and we struggled that match. Eriksen started that match, which was a rare start for him back in those days. But the key to the match was in the second half when Barella came on for Eriksen, and he showed the difference between how Antonio Conte wanted that role to be interpreted. Barella came on with a lot of energy, got the assist for Lukaku, but we were struggling to create chances in that match. And we had the second goal came from Ranocchia, I believe, or was it D'Ambrosio, one of them, of a set piece, of a corner. So, Genoa still play similar style. They still play a 3-5-2. Well, they'll sit back deep. So it won't be an easy match, especially when they line up with a 3-5-2 mirroring formation. In terms of our formation, we know now, when Antonio Conte fine, and now, it's taken a while, but we found our starting 11. Like, there's no arguments about every single position now. These are the starters. Apart from Hakimi, who is now suspended due to yellow card accumulation, Matteo Darmian coming in. Sky Sports Italy need to update their little thumbnail for Darmian, who's still wearing a Parma kit. But what can you say? This is our best team right now. Brozovic, Barella, Eriksen midfield, Eriksen and Perisic, combining on that left-hand side is so much better than seeing, Perisic and Gagliardini combining, or Ashley Young or Gagliardini or Vidal. It's everything. Before we used to be so reliant on the right-hand side, but now we know that even the left-hand side we can create things, because they're both really balanced now, which is really good to see. Lukaku, Martinez up front, really, what can you say? You can't change it. Even though I would like to see Alexis Sanchez get a few more minutes, but that's the thing now that we don't have Champions League, we don't have midweek games, the team is hardly going to change, and you can't argue with it. Now Arturo Vidal, Conte's boy, is going to struggle to get back into the team. Sensi now, he's not going to get any minutes now. I don't believe till the end of the season he's going to get 5-10 minutes towards the end of the games, but Conte can't trust him anymore. Those physical injuries now is looking sticky for Stefano Sensi's career at Inter now. And Vecino, it's a shame as well, because he could have got us a few minutes as well if there were Coppa Italia or a few other things on the line. But it's a big risk trying to bring back a player now who's been out for 5-6 months. So I really see I'm not really seeing Conte risking giving Vecino any minutes now. But really, really happy. Strongest lineup for Genoa. We can see, they play 3-5-2, as I said, difficult formation to play against, because they line up against each other man for man, and they will drop back deep. Players to watch, especially Strootman. The couple of times I watched Genoa since January, since he's come in, he's been one of their most important players straight away. Great signing for them. Strootman, I remember Inter used to be linked with this guy back in his peak days at Roma before his ACL injury. He was a beast. As a player that I've liked in the past, and it's good to see him back in the Serie A. Up front, Shomurodov, they call him the Azerbaijani Messi, I believe, even though he's 6 foot tall. He's an interesting player. And Pandev, obviously, we know about Pandev, the penis head shape, hairstyle, but this guy's still balling out. 37, 38 years old, still going, still scoring goals. Scored 2 against Napoli, so he'll definitely be one to watch out for. What it is with ex-Inter players against Inter. Although this guy has been so long since he was at Inter now, you can barely count him, as a guy who's going to be, trying to gun for Inter. But we'll probably have to watch out for Mattia Destra, who's been, one of the revelations of the season. If he's coming off the bench, he's been in good form this year. Former Inter player, obviously. But apart from that, not really see much of a threat from Genoa. The key will be trying to break them down, because they're, a solid team now under Ballardini. And the 3-5-2 changes almost to a 3-6-1 at times. You see Maziello there, and then Badel, one of the midfielders, even drops there. It makes it a 6 at the back. So they really play some catenaccio at points there. You can see against Genoa, but what that leaves is a lot of space in front of their defense to have shots from range. Inter are not really a team that has shots from outside the box. I looked at some of the stats, and Inter are one of the teams that shoot the least outside the box. But in this match, when Genoa will not be giving you much space in behind, you need to make sure you get the likes of Eriksen, likes of Barella, Brozovic in this area here. Lautaro, when he comes in, to have a pop. Perini is a good goalkeeper, but you can definitely score some goals from this range. And the likes of Eriksen, I would really like to see Eriksen taking more shots as well. Eriksen he's been a little bit shy in terms of taking that step in the final third. He's still this season, still I don't believe he has an assist or a goal yet, apart from that one in the Coppa Italia, the free kick goal. So need Eriksen, now that he's, become a mainstay in the team, to start contributing in terms of goals and assists. So hopefully he can get one this match. But yeah, apart from that, not much to say in this match. The main thing, of course, is to make sure there is no complacency, and I'm sure Antonio Conte will make sure of that. But you never know with these players. Sometimes, 4-point gap at the top, you can start to get comfortable. But no, every single match now is super, super important. 3 points. These matches you have to win. You have to show your superiority. Your team is so much better than Genoa. There's no injury issues. You have to go out there and win, break them down, take those early chances when they come, because that's when things get sticky for Inter, when we don't take the chances. But I have faith. I think Lukaku will get a goal, and I'm predicting that Eriksen gets one as well. So I'm saying another 2-0 victory for Inter, same as earlier on in October when Inter beat them. I don't see Genoa scoring. I see another clean sheet for Inter. We've been really, really good defensively now. The defensive solidity is coming back to this team. So good to see. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the match. You guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Is there anyone you would like to see? Do you want to see Vecino getting some minutes before the end of the season? You want to see Vidal coming back into the team? You want to see Alexis Sanchez more minutes? What do you make of those 10 stats that I talked about at the beginning? And yeah, just let me know your thoughts in below. Make sure you watch that video with Rabona TV. I'll leave the link in the description below. And obviously, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll see you for a post-match review of Inter versus Genoa. Ciao and Forza Inter.